Yep. Okay. Okay. So this is week 4 of You Are Not Broken. I can't believe we're already in week 4. But this is the body learns what you trust. Another word for that is neuroplasticity. But we're going to take it out of the science realm and into what does this actually look like in conjunction with this journey that we've been on. And so I'm going to do, as I always do, kind of a bridge between each week. I'll kind of start there. But what I'll say about this week is the body learns what you trust. The body learns what you trust. And repetition is how safety becomes identity. This is a gentle look at neuroplasticity as the body's capacity to learn through safety and not force. Again, if you're like me, we've kind of learned how to do it the opposite of what we're doing now. And so we're shifting everything out of do, work, strive into what does it look like to create safety, right? That's where we started. Week 1 was we discovered safety without effort. Week 2, we practice not leaving ourselves, not abandoning ourselves when it gets hard, when the pressure's there. And then in week 3, we saw how judgment creates pressure. And this week, we're noticing something even simpler, how the body learns from what it lives inside of. This container of safety, right? The body is learning from you how to exist in this realm that we've created. Awesome. That's not from a place of judgment. We're looking at it now through, wow, I can create something beautiful, effortless through knowing what I bring to this table of life, right? So that's what we're doing. So let me just go back to week 1, safety without effort. Safety is not something you create, it is something that you stop interrupting. Safety isn't something that you force into your body. You must be safe. No, it's what naturally returns when you stop interrupting yourself with judgment, with pressure, or with leaving yourself. Because we were created, our body, again, don't forget, your body was created to heal itself. That's how we were designed. That's science. Science has proven that, right? So the body already knows how to settle. It softens on its own when we stop interrupting it. So again, we were taught how to add, work, do. And now we're just saying, hey, what happens when we strip all the pressure and the judgment away? Is it possible that my body will naturally do what it was created to do? Oh, remember, this is effortless. You don't build safety, you allow it by noticing when you're about to interrupt yourself and choosing to stay instead. That's why we always will just take a moment to say, just feel the chair that you're sitting in or the couch or wherever you are. Just feel it. Just notice that you are held, right? Just notice. That's it. That's it. That's choosing to stay. And the bridge into this week is when the body feels safe, even a little, it stays. And when it stays, it learns. That's neuroplasticity. That's the nervous system reshapes around repeated safety. So, y'all, whether you feel like you intellectually even fully grasp this yet, just take it right now. Just say, okay, she's throwing a lot up against the wall. I know there's stuff that is sticking, whether I feel it or not. We're not looking for fireworks. We're not looking for this mega transformation moment. We're creating realms of beauty and safety by just being, And so the bridge from week 2 was choosing yourself by not leaving. That was week 2 was about staying. When you don't leave yourself, even for a few seconds, the body registers that as trust. And trust repeated becomes familiarity. That's why I know so many didn't have maybe the easiest growing up years. You didn't have maybe a family that always felt trustworthy, or where the familiarity with safety was repeated. And so whether we lost that as kids or later on, whatever, we're getting it back. We're coming back to creating this realm. And I don't even want to say creating because that implies effort, right? No, we're just eliminating the things that caused us to forget. So this is an important subtlety. Is I'm not saying stay so you rewire, because even that carries a hidden pressure. So the staying with yourself, even if it sounds gentle, if I say stay so you can rewire, right? That still your nervous system here, stay to get somewhere. Stay to change something. Stay to become better. Stay so this works. And the body feels a sudden agenda. And the moment there's an agenda, the body goes into performance mode. That's why I keep going back and listening and rereading my notes, because every time I do, I get more. And that's why I'm always going to bring a tie back to every week, because as I really looked at week 2, staying with ourselves, and even asking myself, is there any part of you that has the tendency to go back into performance? And sure, I found things. And the beauty of it was, cool, now I just notice it, and I notice what it feels like when it's not there. Because with an agenda to rewire, to fix, staying is no longer about safety. It's we go back into self-improvement mode. Self-improvement, and gosh, that is where I lived the majority of my life. Maybe you too. But even spiritual self-improvement. I mean, I just think about how we were taught, how I taught as a pastor. I'm not even going to go into that. But realizing, though, that self-improvement, even spiritualized, carries threat energy. Do this, or this will happen. Do this, or this will happen, right? I'm saying staying teaches the body something new. That's a massive energetic difference. And here, there's no goal. You're not staying for change. You're simply staying. And when you stay without an agenda, when you make that decision that I'm not going to abandon Aaron, I'm not going to abandon whoever, you, right? When you stay without an agenda, the body experiences presence. And presence then registers as this is safe, safety. And then safety becomes repeated. Safety repeated becomes familiarity. And that is, we're recalibrating decades of fight or flight into, okay, I can repeat safety. Change is not pursued. Y'all, change is the byproduct of a body, of a nervous system that is safe. That is massive energetic difference. And that energetic shift, and here's a couple of examples. Stay so you rewire is outcome focused. It's subtle control. It's nervous system alertness, right? Staying teaches the body something new is experience focused. No agenda. Nervous system softening. One is management and one is intimacy. This work is intimacy. You are not broken. You are not broken. Just say that. I am not broken. I'm not broken. When you stay with yourself, even for a few seconds, without trying to fix anything, the body experiences something it may not have experienced before. Steady presence. And that steady presence is new information. I'm just going to say that again. When you stay with yourself, even for a few seconds, even what we just did, I am not broken. I'm not broken. And you just stay there. The body experiences something steady. Presence. It's new information. It's not instruction. It's learning happening naturally. Yeah. Again, if you hear, I need to stay so I can change my brain, you will start monitoring yourself. You'll hear, ugh, I'm not doing this right. I must not be doing this right. This isn't working. I don't think I'm getting it. But when I stay, my body learns. My body's learning. I'm relaxing. Relaxation is what rewires. But we're not even doing it for that. We're doing it because we're no longer leaving ourselves. The ability to relax happens when I'm not leaving myself anymore. I'm accepting it. It is what it is, right? And so then we move into week 3, which was releasing judgment. And week 3 really exposed pressure. Now, judgment creates contraction. Contraction creates vigilance. Vigilance becomes familiar, right? And what becomes familiar begins to feel like who we are. That's why we really went after even the subtle judgments. I was meeting with a client today and just asking, what are some of the subtle judgments? And he's like, subtle? They're not subtle at all. I've got judgment after judgment after judgment. And then looking at what would happen if you just had a different perspective for those. And immediately his body began to go, okay, I don't have to hold this. In other words, judgment tightens the body. Even subtle judgment, a small, I shouldn't be this way. Why am I this way? Why am I not getting this? That creates contraction. And contraction signals the nervous system that something is not safe. And when something doesn't feel safe, the body then becomes vigilant. It starts scanning. What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? Bracing. It starts preparing. I've got to work at this. And if that vigilance happens often enough, it becomes familiar. Not because it's true, not because it's who we are, but because it's practiced. And what is practiced begins to feel like identity. So I want this to land here. When you judge yourself, even quietly, the body tightens. And that tightening here, it's not a character flaw. It's protection. Your body is really brilliant. Your nervous system is brilliant. Protection repeated becomes vigilance. That begins to feel normal. And what feels normal begins to feel like me. That's how pressure becomes personality. Next week, we're gonna blow the whole personality and identity thing that we've kind of adopted. We're blowing it up. Because what's felt normal and what just felt like, oh, this is just who I am, was more than likely pressure that created a personality that could condemn you, right? So hear me, this is where we acknowledge, oh, I wasn't broken. I was practicing pressure. I didn't even know it. And that realization alone softens identity. Because identity is often just familiarity, not essence, not truth, familiarity. And familiarity can change, not through force, but through what is safely repeated instead. What we repeat under pressure feels like personality. And if pressure shapes identity through repetition, then safety does too. So here's the progression. Safety allows softening. Softening allows staying. Staying builds trust. And trust repeated reshapes identity. So let me just break those open a little bit. Safety allows softening. When the body feels even slightly safe, it loosens. This is from week 1. Even the shoulders drop, breathing deepens, the jaw unclenches. That's why I even send the emails that I send, like, just come. You're perfect exactly as you are, right? Softening is not weakness. It's the nervous system coming out of defense. That's where everything begins. I feel like I've spent the last years of my life just learning to let go, just learning to let my shoulders drop. And you see me walking through my house just often, just like, let go. Even just a thought comes, I'm just now, it's like, let it go, right? It's a nervous system coming out of defense. And that's where everything begins, right? And so then week 2, softening allows staying. Because when the body softens, it doesn't need to escape. It doesn't have to fix or solve or defend. It can remain, it can stay. And remaining, even for a few seconds, is new information. And then we learned that staying builds trust, not because you promised change, not because you forced positivity, but because you didn't leave. And when you stay with yourself without judgment, the body registers, I am not alone. I am not alone. Y'all, that is trust. I am not alone. Oh my gosh. And trust repeated reshapes identity. When trust is repeated, even quietly, it becomes familiar. And what becomes familiar begins to feel like who you are. Not hypervigilance, not pressure, not self-monitoring, but steadiness. That is how safety becomes identity, steadiness. So the full contrast here is there's the pressure pathway is judgment, contraction, vigilance, familiarity, identity, right? The safety pathway is safety, softening, staying, trust, identity. Identity was never fixed, it was practiced. We practiced it. And what is practiced can shift, not through effort, but through what is safely repeated. So that's what we're really talking about this week. You become who you practiced under pressure, right? That's how we became where we are. You can become who you practiced in safety. No force required. So this is the core teaching for this week. The body learns what you trust. So here's the spine for week 4. The nervous system repeats what feels safest. Not what is the healthiest, not what is true, what feels safest. Number 2 is familiar does not mean aligned. It means practiced. And number 3, repetition shapes identity. If something is repeated in safety, it becomes me. But this is crucial. The body does not change through argument. It changes through repeated safety. That's why we've taken the time to look at this safety, this realm, this container of safety, right? And so here's a little gentle science insert. Science calls this neuroplasticity. And it's so funny because people talk about this all the time, and I get, my algorithms send me all this stuff. And it's funny, a lot of the time, even the people talking about neuroplasticity makes me now feel like, oh my gosh, they're adding so much work to this. And it just doesn't have to be. The brain reorganizes around repeated experience, right? So neuroplasticity means the brain is not fixed. It changes. It reorganizes. It adapts, yeah? But here's the important part. The brain does not recognize or does not reorganize around what you want. It reorganizes around what you repeatedly experience. So repeated fear strengthens fear pathways. Repeated calm strengthens calm pathways. This is a big one. Repeated judgment strengthens vigilance. And repeated safety strengthens steadiness. That's the science part. That is it right there. But your body has always known this. Again, our body is so epic, so brilliant. It simply learns what it lives inside of. You don't have to use neuroplasticity. You have been living it your entire life. If you lived inside pressure, I did, I think you did too, or you wouldn't be here, your body learned pressure. If you lived inside vigilance, your body learned vigilance. Not because you failed, not because you were weak, because the body learns through repetition. That's it. That's it. And the deep reassurance here is that you are not what? Broken. You're patterned. You're patterned. And patterns are not moral. Listen to this. They are learned. You're not broken. You're patterned. They were learned. And what is learned through repetition can shift through repetition, not force. What you resist persists. So science calls this neuroplasticity, the brain reshaping itself around repeated experience. But you don't need even the word. Your body is always adapted to what it lived inside of. It learned tension when tension was repeated, right? And it can learn steadiness and peace the same way. This keeps science, sure, the science is a reassurance, but it's not the authority. And so let's just have a little somatic moment here. Let's just pause. Okay, I just want to pause and invite. Just notice something in your body that feels even 2% steady. Just notice something in your body that feels even 2% steady. Don't improve it. Don't hold it. Just notice. That is how new familiarity begins. That's neuroplasticity in real time, without effort. I just notice the place that feels steady. And this is where, here's a relief moment, right? This is where the whole week shifts. You don't need to force change. You just need to gently repeat safety. The body will do the rest. Now we kind of understand why self-attack didn't work, forcing didn't work. If I could just do this over and over and over again, fixing didn't work because those were repetitions of threat, right? So this kind of prepares us for week 5. I can't even believe that, week 5. Week 4 reveals if repetition shapes identity, then identity might be more flexible than I thought. Is it possible that our identity is even way more flexible than we thought? Nothing new needs to be added. Only something safe needs to be repeated. So what does this mean for me to do? If you're like me, okay, that's cool. What do I do, Erin? What do I do? You don't need to do anything dramatic. You don't need to create a new personality. You don't need to override old patterns. Only something safe needs to be repeated. That means notice moments that already feel 2% steadier. Stay there a breath longer. Not to change yourself, not because it's safe enough to remain. That's it. You know, last week when I told you about my hospital experience, something shifted in me, even in me telling the story. Not because I solved it, not because I analyzed it, not because I turned it into a lesson, but because I let myself tell the truth of it without judgment. And in living it and telling it, I stayed with myself. And that staying felt safe. Man, and that safety didn't just stay in that moment, it carried into this week. It influenced decisions I made, it softened conversations, it changed how I related to my body, not because I tried to change, but because something safe was repeated. So I want to clarify that subtlety. This is not about, again, forcing positivity. It's not about suppressing fear. It's not about rewiring on purpose. It's about allowing your body to experience safety without interrupting it. Just take a moment. Just let yourself, it's okay if I don't fully comprehend this. I know this is kind of a new way of thinking. Could you just allow your body right now to experience safety without interrupting it with any judgment? Because when safety is experienced repeatedly, even briefly, the nervous system begins to recognize that as your new familiar. And familiarity becomes identity. That is what it means when I say the body learns what you trust. So when I stayed with myself in that story, without attacking, without performing, my nervous system registered that as safety. Of all the things, going through the ER was registered as safety. But once safety is registered, it begins to feel more familiar. Familiar enough to influence the next moment. It wasn't that I made better decisions because I forced myself to. It's that my body felt less under threat. And when the body feels less under threat, different choices feel available. That's the practicality of it. I tell you my story to illustrate that repetition doesn't have to be dramatic. One moment of safe staying will echo forward. Not because it's magic, because the nervous system is adaptive. I just want to say that again. Every moment of safety, of just noticing, I'm just choosing to notice, even a 2%, where I feel steady in me, even 2%. Can I just notice that? Can I stay there for a few minutes? What am I doing? I'm teaching my nervous system, I'm teaching my body that there are other choices available. I'm not thinking that through. I'm not going, okay, if you do this, Erin, you're going to have 5 different solutions that are going to come at the right time. I saw that happen. I think I shared with you guys last week how just this idea of, hey, I need to check on this for my dad, insurance wise. And it all ended up being, he was able to, I think, save $200, nearly $250 a month because we just asked questions we had never asked before based on his insurance and his Social Security. And there's no reason why we would have even known to go there or call this particular organization or even know. But yet, as we're living in the safety of a people who are taken care of and who are fully supplied, solutions came just by being safe. And I'm seeing that over and over again. So again, I'm telling you stories to help illustrate it, that this repetition, it seems like we're just doing these micro movements, but it's doing so much. One moment of safety, of staying, echoes forward. And it keeps going and it keeps going. Because your nervous system in your body, it's made to create. It's made to heal itself. So I want to end this with this blessing over you. So just kind of drink this in. May you notice what is already safe within you. Even before we do this, would you just take a moment to notice the chair, the couch, wherever you are. Just notice how it feels. Notice how the clothes on your skin feel right now. Just notice. Notice the air. Is it cool? Is it warm? Notice, is it quiet where you are? Is there external noise? I don't know if you guys have heard it, but my little dog, for what she never comes in here, has just been walking around trying to get in my lap this whole time. So there's these tiny little footsteps. It'd be great for the recording. I think she can feel the peace. I really do. But just notice the room right now. And now, notice even one place within you that feels steady. Just notice. And so I say this over you. May you notice what is already safe within you. Let your shoulders drop. Let your jaw relax. May you stay here long enough for that to feel familiar. And may that familiarity gently become who you know yourself to be. May your body feel even a little less alone this week. May steadiness find you in small, repeatable ways. May safety become the place you return to without effort. May you remember that nothing in you is broken. I am not broken. May safety repeat itself gently. And you know what comes next. May you discover in a new realm of safety that you are perfect for this moment. You are perfect for this moment. So even now, just hear this within you. I am not broken. And I am perfect for this moment. Perfect. Yeah. So just in this place, just giving you permission to be an epic treasure hunter right now. A treasure hunter that's effortless. All you have to do is just breathe. And you see the beauty that is in you. You see the beauty that is around you. Yeah.